You're listening to the Animal Free Labcast, the podcast that puts humans, not animals, at the heart of medical research. Hello and welcome to the Animal Free Labcast. I'm back here again for our final episode this year with Dr. Gemma Davis. Hiya Gemma, how are you?
Hi Carla, I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. We're going to do a really special year-end episode today when we're going to look back at some of the highlights from the podcast and all the many wonderful, amazing guests that we've had. So that's coming up. But Gemma, before we get started, as always, let's talk about the poll results.
Yeah, of course. So if you remember, the question was, do you support our 4 campaign asks to implement the government's new strategy to replace animal testing? And the results, unsurprisingly, as usual, 99% of people said yes. So there was one person that said no.
Excellent.
And as usual, I'd love to know why. But we don't know why. But they didn't agree. So yes, thank you to everyone who voted.
Another strong result. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to do something about these poll questions next year. We'll have a think about that.
I know. We will.
It's like becoming a personal challenge now, isn't it? To try and beat 99%.
Yeah, exactly.
Earlier this year, we had a celebrity photo shoot with the amazing photographer Rankin, and we took the opportunity to get some of our celeb supporters in front of our podcast microphones. Deborah Meaden, who you will know from Dragon's Den, told us all about why she's backing an animal-free future for medical research and why she wanted to become one of Herbie's heroes. So these are the people who are backing Herbie's law. And she wants to push to introduce legislation to end the use of animals in medical research. So let's listen to Deborah.
Well, I think it's really important. I think a lot of people don't even think about the animals that are used in experiments and laboratories in this country. I think they'd be shocked if they knew how many it was. And I guess the really shocking thing is that 2.6 million animals are actually in laboratories. But actually, of the results, 92% of the results that come out of that, so out of animal testing, when it actually goes to human trials, it fails. It's a shocker. Those animals have given up their lives and their health to really only fail. And there are alternatives. I think that's the thing. Yeah. There are better alternatives. In the olden days, there weren't. But now that we have them, it makes it a lot worse.
Absolutely.
That we're not using them.
Absolutely. If you could say one thing to decision makers who are thinking about how to phase out animal testing right now, what would that be?
I think it's really difficult at the moment. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of priorities, and that kind of makes nothing a priority, everything a priority and nothing a priority. But this is something that it's not just of this moment. If we think about the results, if we think about the human side of this, as well as the animal side of this, of course we don't want to be experimenting on animals, but we also want to be doing the right thing for humans. And there are now better alternatives. So it seems like it's come together. It is better if we don't experiment on animals.
Absolutely. We've got patients who are desperate for cures and that are waiting for better treatments. This is the way to achieve that.
Absolutely right. And it is. I'm going to say it again. It's pretty shameful that 92% of the results that come out of animal testing when they go to human trials, they fail. That's that's poor odds.
You wouldn't tolerate that kind of failure rate in any of your businesses?
Absolutely right. I'd be thinking I need to do something differently.
Absolutely. Couldn't have put it myself better there.
Yeah.
Got to do something a bit differently when it's not working, haven't you?
Exactly. And like Deborah says, you wouldn't accept that in any other type of business. So why are we here? Now, as we mentioned there, we've been working hard on Herbie's Law this year, which is our call for new legislation to end the use of animals in medical research over the next decade. And we've had some incredible progress over the course of this year, and we're really pleased with how everything is going. But you might remember back in January, MP Steve Race actually introduced the bill into Parliament.
I was picked for a presentation bill, which is a type of private members bill. And I chose to do it on animals and medical research because I'd been for a visit already with Animal for Research to the Centre of Excellence in Exeter to see the work that you do in partnership with Laura Sinclair, one of the researchers there, on her work on de-aging cells, which is really interesting in its own right, but also of interest is that she is funded to do that research in an entirely animal-free way, which I thought was really fantastic. And it opened up really big questions for me about what we can do with animals, the fact that it's cutting-edge science in its own right. We should be world leaders in this, but also as I got deeper into the topic about sort of animals and medical research, I really thought it was something that hasn't had enough focus in Parliament and in politics, and wanted to do something about that.
So why now, Steve? Why is this the perfect moment for Herbie's Law and for finally bringing about this kind of transition towards better science and more kindness for animals?
I think that the time is now because the Labour government is putting a big bet on science, innovation and technology, and life sciences in particular. We want to encourage as many life sciences companies to invest in this country as much as possible. We want to be at the centre of that in the world, and therefore we need to do that in a sustainable and an ethical way that also delivers the best science as well. It can't just be bad science, it's got to be good science. And I think that as we scale up and encourage companies to invest here in life sciences, we also need to set the standard for the world. I think this is one of the really good areas where we should be doing that.
Well done, Steve.
Yeah, fantastic to hear it. And if you've been keeping up with the podcast throughout the year, you'll have heard many of our achievements with gaining support for Herbie's Law. And we're now up to 150 MPs that are supporting it.
Amazing.
It's amazing. And we've also established the all-party parliamentary group, the EP50, on phasing out animal experiments, which now has an amazing 42 members as well.
And that's growing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, huge support in Parliament. Thank you so much to all the MPs. We have, of course, also had lots of brilliant scientists on the podcast this year, all of them pushing for a human-focused approach to medical research. Dr. Jenny Ashworth is one of those. She's an expert in breast cancer from the University of Nottingham, and she's working on replacing animal-derived products in her cancer research. So we asked her how she got involved in animal-free research.
Well, it's important for such a huge number of reasons. I feel that as scientists, we have a responsibility to both to be as ethical as possible, but also to be as scientifically rigorous as possible. So, using animals is problematic for so many reasons, both in terms of the ethics, but also in terms of the results that you see are not going to be necessarily representative of how a human patient would respond. So it's just so important to replace methods that are currently being used using animal technologies with something that's a lot more realistic to the patient, because it saves human lives as well as animal lives.
Jenny, that's so fascinating. I'd just love to talk with you for hours about your material sciences degree and spider webs and so cool. but you've chosen to specialize down into this really, really important area that's going to make a real difference, I hope. So where do you see this going? What impact do you think you could be having for patients? Because breast cancer, it's a huge problem.
Yes, so there's a few different areas in which it can help patients in the future. So one is simply by understanding more about how the cancer develops. That will help us develop new therapies. But in the future, I'd hope that there'd be even more exciting opportunities where, because these methods are very scalable, so by making a miniature version of a tumour in the lab, we can make lots and lots of them. And that would mean that we can test lots of different drugs and drug combinations. And this would help us predict which might be the most effective in a patient. And the dream would be that one day this could even be used for personalised medicine, where we could potentially grow tumours or pieces of tissue and scale this up for one particular patient. And then we could use that to help design a personalised treatment for that person. And we're a bit of a way away from that now, but it's good to be excited about the future possibilities of where this technology could lead.
Oh, so inspiring to hear from Jenny. Really enjoyed chatting with her. And it was incredible to see. I don't think we've actually talked about it on the podcast before, but Jenny's work was actually directly mentioned in the government strategy to replace animals in science as a prime example of alternative method-driven innovation in the biosciences. So it's a really amazing opportunity for our supporters to see exactly where your donations are going, how they really are funding the future of animal-free science. And it's a brilliant example of how scientists like Jenny really are making a difference in replacing animals in medical research. So
That's a really proud moment for us, wasn't it, Gemma, to see that, to see Jenny's name there in the strategy. Yeah,
it's brilliant. And I think we're putting a post out this week on social so you can see some nice quotes from Jenny about it as well.
Fabulous.
We also had some great explanations of the animal-free technologies that are helping move this forward to help us reach a world free of animal testing in medical research. And a really good example, a really nice chat we had with Dr. Ethan Perkins from the University of Bradford. He's using a new human cell model to study prostate cancer, and he gave us a brilliant description of what an organ on a chip is.
Yeah, so organ on a chip, I'm giggling to myself because people have really different ideas. I actually had one person think it was a physical potato chip. But a lot of people think, sounded tasty. I'm not going to lie.
Let me have some organs with chips, please. No, thanks.
But other people picture sort of what we'd all, or what most of us would think it was, which is a sort of a microchip like a computer. And what it actually is plastic or glass-based system with lots of different, what we call microfluidic channels, which are very small channels. And within these channels, you can do things like grow a 3D vessel, or you can embed your cancer spheroids, which are sort of miniature tumors, or any sort of miniature organ in place. And then you can use flow or various different techniques to replicate what would happen in the human system. So at the start of the grant, we're looking at what I would say is semi-organ on a chip, using a plate-based system where we essentially embed triculture cells, so 3 different types of cells. So we'll have our tumor, some supportive cells called fibroblasts, and blood vessel cells called endothelial cells. And we'll put them all together in this already optimized concoction of cells, sort of a cocktail, if you like. And we'll embed them within a matrix, which is collagen-based, which is the most common matrix found in the human body. And we'll look to essentially let that grow, and then we'll be able to test drugs on it. And when we're ready, we'll then move that over to our, what I would call true organ on a chip, which is our microfluidic platform, where we'll then start circulating using a pump system, the media and the drug treatments, etc., through, which would mimic sort of blood vessel delivery, an IV in the clinic. So these organ on a chips are able to really get close to replicating the real thing. And the beauty of these pump systems is you can then daisy chain different organs together to try and get that sort of systemic approach as well. So you could have your diseased tissue alongside healthy tissue and so on to see off-target effects as well.
Amazing. So that's going to be sounds like a little kind of mini clinical trial in an organ on a chip kind of thing. So you're going to be actually able to test drugs. Is there going to be an eventual impact for patients with your research, Ethan?
The ultimate hope is to move it forward so that we can use these models as a screening platform or an animal alternative as well, right the way through preclinical trials to get these new drugs to patients. But also what I'd really like to see in the future would be this avenue that's becoming more talked about now with NAMs is personalized medicine.
Yeah.
So we could get a prostate cancer patient, we could get a biopsy, so we could get some of their tumor cells out. We can then grow it in our lab over the course of a few weeks, and then we can actually use that to screen and select the therapy that's going to work for them. And this will save patients time in getting the right treatment quickly, but also a lot of undesirable side effects, because chemotherapies, traditionally, you become resistant to them over the course of time. Some people are very resistant to start with certain ones, and some people are never going to be treated by chemotherapies. They need things like immunotherapies, etc. So by being able to screen that within the lab, within the course of 2 to 4 weeks, in some cases, would actually save the patient a lot of illness and harm. I know it's delaying treatment a little bit, but if it's the right treatment that they then get, it's a good compromise.
Just so brilliant to hear how organ on a chip and animal-free technologies are helping to create real clinical outcomes for patients and to, hopefully get us closer to a world where, cancer doesn't have such a huge impact on people.
Yeah, really inspiring to hear all the things that Ethan's working on. It's fantastic.
So it hasn't all been scientists this year. We also had a wonderful interview with the illustrator, Emily Sutton. She worked with us on the Brighter Future campaign earlier in the year and talked about how animals are such an inspiration for her and in her work. And she was just wonderful to work with, part of the Rankin photo shoot that we did.
Animals are a huge part of my work and they inspire me every day. And I absolutely adore all animals, especially dogs, but just generally, the natural world is really important to me. And I grew up, in a tiny village in the countryside and very much feel connected with nature and the natural world. So yeah, it was just a really brilliant cause and I was really excited to be part of it.
So I'd say, Emily, you're around about the same age as me.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering what you knew about animal testing before you got involved with us. So for me, back in the early 90s, it was all about the Body Shop campaign, their Against Animal Testing campaign. I remember that really, really clearly. Was that something that was in your
I think the Body Shop have been really, they were sort of one of the pioneers of raising awareness about animal testing and the cruelty of that in the sort of cosmetic world. So I was definitely aware of that. And I'm not someone that wears a lot of makeup anyway, but when I do, I'm sort of conscious about, using products that aren't tested on animals. But yeah, I think with the medical testing, it's sort of more complicated because I do have people in my life that have had sort of quite serious illnesses. And, so you think, well, it's difficult because on the one hand, you'd like to say no animal testing. On the other hand, there's certain drugs where you think, well, maybe it's needed in that thing. But so when we're talking about the medical side of things, and I found out how little of that research actually ends up being useful, I was really shocked and quite sort of angry because it just seems like, oh, well, it's also pointless as well as being really awful for the animals. It's actually not even useful for the humans either. So that I feel like maybe because it is quite an emotive topic because everyone knows somebody that has had to use drugs. So you sort of assume that animals have to be part of that, but it turns out they actually don't. But I'm sort of, I think it seems like they're in the process of figuring out, more effective alternatives. But I think it's important that the pressure is kept on, to keep all of those innovations going. So hopefully it can be, like with the cosmetic industry, it's almost, you almost assume that most products aren't tested on animals anymore. It'd be good if we could get to that point with the medical side of things too, if it's not even going to be super useful.
Well, that is absolutely the aim, isn't it? One day, a future where animals are no longer used in medical products.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you so much to Emily for designing our beautiful artwork that we used on the T-shirts that our celebs are wearing.
Yeah, lovely. My favourite T-shirt now.
I know, it's so lovely. Well, to round off, let's hear from another one of our celebrity supporters, broadcaster Kirsty Gallagher, who's one of our most passionate supporters. Let's hear from Kirsty.
I always was obsessed with animals, insects, just fascinated by them and had loads of pets and was always in the garden looking at things and why I'm not a vet or a scientist, I wouldn't know, but actually I do know. I think there was a period where I wanted to be a vet because I just wanted to make every animal better, but I don't think I could have emotionally coped with it.
Right,
That's my issue.
Yeah.
But no, I'm a huge animal lover, brought up with all sorts of animals. My parents are lovely animal lovers and I just find animal suffering in any way unforgiveable.
Yeah.
I don't kill a fly. I won't even. I mean, there's a bit of a joke in the house, that if there's a fly, I'm like, no, don't don't hurt it. You must get it out, you know.
Yeah, you've got to run after it with a dustpan and brush and try and get it out of the window.
Well, that's what I do. And my kids are like, but they are like me, actually, really. And in fact, Jude once, my youngest, he was only little and he stepped on a bumblebee by accident. It didn't kill it, by the way. Didn't kill it. And he was like, oh no. And I'm like, oh God, what have I created here? So,
you brought them up properly then.
Yes, I did. You know, you shouldn't harm any living thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not knowingly. No.
And you share your home with dogs as well, I think.
Yes, two rescue dogs. We sadly lost Betsy, who was an amazing girl, just over a year ago. And then we have a rescue tortois as well.
A rescue tortois?
Yes, Theo, who's very important.
Theo the tortoise.
Yeah, he's the boss, actually. He's sort of, if you put him down, he just goes for the dog's ankles. It's quite funny. We live in the countryside and we live lots of fields, loads of sheep and loads of animals, and just a baby calf. A cow gave birth to a baby the other day, and springtime's beautiful because you've got everything sort of blossoming. And it's just, animals make my day better. I don't know, I think for people who haven't been brought up with pets and animals, it's a travesty. It's like you don't know what you're missing. It's just a simple joy that they, you know, and they can, I really feel animals can heal people. You know, if you're having a bad day, and they don't know what's going on, they just want love. It's unconditional. And for me, that's incredible.
Oh, so lovely to hear from Kirsty there. She's so passionate about animals, and we're really grateful that she was involved with the campaign.
Well, I think so many of us listening will really just get what she means by that. I mean, animals are just so wonderful, aren't they? Just really important family members. And it makes me think about Herbie and how much we miss him.
Yeah, of course.
Bless him.
Bless him.
Well, this year, I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's listened to the podcast and who's supported Animal Free Research UK in any way. You have been part of a movement that has helped 13,863 people to email their MPs.
Wow.
Amazing. You've brought Herbie's Law onto the desk of every single MP in the country. All 650 MPs have been contacted by you. We've won the backing of 150 parliamentarians for a future without animal suffering in laboratories. If anyone had told me that at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't have believed them. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And the generosity of people like you have powered £150,000 worth of cutting-edge animal-free research. We funded brilliant scientists. We funded catalyst grants at our Animal Replacement Centres of Excellence, our ARCs, and new PhD talent. We've expanded our antibody database to over 80,000 ethical tools that researchers can use right now. Together, you've also helped secure a UK government roadmap to replace animal tests, which is an important step that shows your voice is being heard, even as we push for bolder action from government. By standing with Animal Free Research UK, you're proving that compassionate, human-specific science isn't just possible, it's already happening. And we've heard week after week, you are right at the heart of it. So thank you so much for listening and for being part of something bigger. We will be back in 2026. We'll have loads more inspiring conversations with scientists, with campaigners and supporters who are making animal-free, human-specific research the new normal, because that's absolutely what it needs to be. And we'll keep on showing you the change that you're driving every day. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much to all of our supporters and everybody who's helped, get in touch with your MP or make a donation, whether it's large or small. It really does make a difference, as you can see. And you will have heard, throughout this year, all the different people that we've helped support and all the amazing things that they're working on. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah, thank you all. And have a wonderful Christmas and a Merry New Year and all that good stuff. And we'll be back in 2026.
Yep, see you then.
Thanks so much for listening. You've been listening to the Animal Free Labcast, the podcast that puts humans, not animals, at the heart of medical research. If you want to find out about more ways to move to a world of animal-free research, then head to our website, animalfreeresearchuk.org. And if you'd like to send us an audio message about the poll or anything else you've heard in the podcast, then leave us a voicemail on 0208 054 9695. That's 0208 054 9695. Thank you for listening.